Hey guys, on this episode of EdTech, we're going to be talking with Ernie Bailey, Scott Tyner, and Rob Raspberry as we talk about Zoom and online collaboration and how this all affects as everything is shut down from the coronavirus. All this and more on EdTech.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is EdTech, episode 84, Sudden Switch to Online Classes.
Support for AVNation is brought to you by
Extron, industry-leading technology backed by world-class support.
And by Christie Digital.
This is EdTech, the higher ed monthly tech podcast. I'm your host, Bill O'Donnell. As always, I've got the illustrious Ernie Bailey. How are you, sir?
I'm doing just fine.
All right. We also have Rob Raspberry. How are you, sir?
Doing fine. Always happy to be here.
Indeed. And as always, Mr. Scott Tyner. How are you, sir?
Hey, Bill. I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well also.
Yeah. So, as I say, the first thing I should kind of cover on everything is a lot of folks right now are either working from home or working remotely or are considered essential personnel. Both Rob, as I say, I'm sure as you can kind of tell, but both Rob and Ernie are still at their job sites and everything, while Mr. Tyner and I are enjoying the luxury of working remotely, which has its own pitfalls. But Rob, I actually, if both you guys want to kind of go into explaining, how you guys are, still coming in and considered essential and things like that. It's not a knock so much as it's, you guys are where you are. I'd at least like to hear this.
So basically, I have two teams, and my one team handles Zoom. Mm-hmm. But I am considered an essential critical employee, and the rest of them have the ability to come in if they want to, but they are able to work remotely from home. And managing Zoom, you can do pretty much remotely anyway. But there are certain things that happen at a higher level, and being here to interface directly with the networking guys and also some of the upper management really is pretty critical. There's already been a couple situations where if I wasn't here, something bad would have happened. So right now our campus is closed. Only essential personnel are allowed in. We are moving everything online for the next term. And so that's cross-platform. It involves, Blackboard, Collaborate, Zoom, Teams, all that stuff. So we're running around trying to organize all these things. Mm-hmm. And we've been off for about a week. They sort of essentially closed the campus down on last Friday. Mm-hmm. And we don't expect to open up anytime soon for students, although there was a situation where there are certain international students who are unable to go back home, so they've designated one of the dorms sort of as a congregating point for them. So we'll see how that works out. So there's all kinds of adjustments that have to be made, but pretty much I'm here to interface with the networking guys if something critical goes wrong, and also interface with my team. Now, one quick other note is my other group, which is IMS, handles classroom technology. And so all of our, upgrades and maintenance were shut down. And what I've done is I've taken those guys and I'm moving them over into our Zoom support team for the time being for the rest of the term to bolster our, staff and help out with a gazillion calls that we're going to get. And so that's pretty much where we stand right now.
Okay, and we're in a lot of the same situation, with the exception that our campus cannot close. We're a hospital, and we are the lead hospital for the state in the COVID situation right now, and we're the only comprehensive academic health science center in the state. So we have all the different schools. All the students have been sent away. They can come to campus. They cannot enter any clinical areas. Our dorms have remained open because there are a lot of students that can't go home right now for situations similar to like what Rob was mentioning, international students or those that can't travel to get where they need to be. So we've left the dorms open. We're asking them to self-quarantine pretty much. And also, like Rob, we have become a Zoom support group. We supported connecting to Zoom calls 3 weeks ago. You know, if another campus or organization wanted to contact us and they use Zoom, my guys had a good skill set in, you know, starting the soft conferencing tools in the classroom, getting connected to Zoom and all of that. My team has become Zoom administrators over the last 2 weeks. We went from 0 license to 500 overnight. We're administering the license. We've issued 200 of our 500. All of our schools are in spring break, and they will start back up next week. So we'll be using Zoom, Blackboard Collaborate, Teams. I think Rob went down our list as he was doing it for us. So we're in exactly the same boat. A little bit different because we're a hospital. We're handling the technical side of our command center. Somebody asked where all of my displays were, and I walked them into our command center. We actually have 9 displays set up throughout the room, projectors and direct view displays, both displaying all sorts of maps and information. We're doing Zoom conferencing at least twice a day. We have 2 updates that are Zoom conferences. We have very restricted registration, controlling how the information gets out, where it goes right now. So that's been an experience in that we're requiring people to register and then be accepted into conferences. So that's the challenge. And we're setting up several Zoom meeting spaces for meetings that have to take place, and we can't get either the presenters, the faculty, or the participants onto campus. And we ran into a situation just yesterday where we're having to do some special construction in the hospital. And the contractors are not being allowed on campus to present their materials, you know, as part of their bid proposals. So we've set up an offsite space with Zoom so we can bring our in-campus people into the meeting without them having to leave and, you know, redress and rescreen coming back. But we can also bring the contractors in. So it's a lot of interesting, and I want to say the challenges are fun. I don't like what's causing it, but the opportunity it gives us to learn new skills and to show the skill set that we have to a larger audience here on our campus has been very good. And you know, we're getting recognition from people we never would have on campus as the tech support team. So I think it's all been good. My team, we are trying to do some classroom renovation. We had some material already here for maintenance or for upgrades, and we're starting to, instead of doing that in the summer, we're starting to roll it out now, speed things up. But we're also moving our engineering and integration team into Zoom support. So like I said, a lot of what Rob said, but add a hospital to it.
Yeah. As I say, Ernie, I guess the big question for you guys is, have folks had to, have you had to deal with a lot of folks dealing with, like, say, cross-platform, where it's like, well, I just use Zoom, or you know, some other folks are just WebEx, and you can't go, well, we can mix and match, or it's, well, I'm just throwing it out there.
We have run into that some, but the deal is the campus made a decision to add Zoom to our offerings. We were pretty much either video conferencing, you know, with hardware conferencing tools, or Blackboard Collaborate. Those were our options, and I didn't move enough. There we go. But we've added Zoom, so Zoom is what we are supporting and doing, and we have the hosting licenses to do the Zoom now. we bought one large, large license, 1,000 seat Zoom licenses. I'm allowed to move from user to user, and we've used it for several events. And it's been very successful. And I think probably Zoom is here to stay. My big question is, what's going to happen Monday when all the classes start back up again, and the faculty have the option of Blackboard Collaborate or Zoom, both fully supported by the campus. And we don't know which one they're going to use Monday morning.
See, that's the big question that I'm kind of afraid of, and I feel for the folks, at least on our end, who I'm right down the hall from all the folks who handle the Blackboard shell building and everything else.
Yeah.
So those folks, I've already told them, I'm like, yeah, guys, what's your personal, you like bourbon, gin, vodka? I'm like, I'm going to give them a bottle of something very nice, because the next couple of days, I don't envy them. I don't envy Rob after spring break happens or so. And it's the only reason is this, and guys, you can chime in on this and everything. We do have some faculty who are already used to doing online teaching.
Yes.
So for them, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm just going to continue on with my stuff. There's some who have even done hybrid courses. So it's like, all right, I'm going to get a little bit out of my range. And then you're going to have some folks who flat out are going to be calling and saying, how do I get this? What do I do? I'm sure Ernie and his folks are still going to get some phone calls of, I just have my laptop, or I just have my iPad.
Right.
What do I do?
Exactly. We have all that written out at our help desk. We have a separate AV help desk, and that's what's running Zoom. And they're probably going to be doing Collaborate as well. And we're not real strong in that, because the Collaborate people have their own help group, but they go through special training for all the faculty. Well, those who didn't want to go through the training are now going to start using it. And there's one person in Blackboard. And while I've only got a staff of 10, it's a lot bigger than the Blackboard team. So we're going to be picking up a lot of that and trying to help people with both. And like I said, we don't know who's going to be using what. Now, I ran into an instructor in the hall yesterday. He was actually volunteering in one of our call centers during the day since he didn't have students. And I asked him if he was through lecturing for the semester, because our faculty lecture in small batches, very specialized stuff. And he said, I've got one more week, but I've already recorded all my lectures, and I've sent the students the links to the recordings. And then I've told them I'm available. They can Zoom into me, and, schedule a meeting, and we will have a one-on-one chat or a small group chat if they want to. So.
That's the other end of it. I think that'll be kind of interesting is how this kind of, after all this plays out, whether or not like faculty will continue to use your Zooms, your WebEx sessions, your Collaborate sessions, and things like that. I mean, I've already seen it. I saw it on at least two of my colleagues who, funny enough, are one's in the computer science and the other one's in the education department. And they're now starting to put up, they will actually go and they've actually gone and set up Zoom office hours and everything, for their students, and just like, here, if you guys want to pop in, here's my session. He sent the link out to everyone, and it's pretty much just, it's essentially a graduated form of Google Hangouts. But the real question for me, I just look at it as, I go, that's all well and good. Is that going to be the new norm? Like I said, if anything, once again, Rob, I look at you guys and I just say, hats off to you. If anything, I really feel like you guys are just going to be spinning plates for at least a good couple of weeks, and probably, this is something I'll ask the whole group. I know my college has already said that we're going to be doing online till the end of the semester. More than likely we won't have graduation. There's even possible talk of not having a summer session, or just having an online summer session, but they're just forecasting stuff out. Is that, as I say, is that been the case with everyone for the most part? Is like, most of the rest of the semester is canceled out, or?
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
no?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. There's no the spring semester is all online, and then like you said, depending upon how this whole coronavirus thing pans out, if it continues on, then we will continue on the online platform. Commencement's still up in the air. They're
Right.
still deciding. I would expect that as things are going, it's probably going to be a virtual kind of thing. One thing that we were lucky with is that we purchased an enterprise license a while back, over a year ago, so we were at least able, I think, to handle the capacity. The unknown part of it is that, once the semester gets going, how many people are going to be calling. And the other thing that we've done is that, like in Ernie's situation, there's a separate group that handles Blackboard, and within Blackboard collaborates, so that's on their end. And then my team deals with Zoom. We all cross over a little bit with Teams, but not so much. But the bottom line is that even with Zoom, like once we do the recordings, we'll put them into Kaltura, which is our content management system,
Right.
and allow that to push it into Blackboard and the core shells and things of that sort. So like you said, it's like that commercial where, that company's sitting there and they open up and they're happy. They get one order on the screen, and then it goes to 1,000 and then 10,000. And they're like, oh, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Scott, I'd ask on your side and everything. I mean, granted, it's a little bit smaller scale, but at the same time, are you guys being impacted by any of this, or are you just kind of like sitting back and just going, all right, well, we'll wait this through a bit?
Yeah, we've been impacted. We've been fortunate, I think, in the sense that we have a really great academic technology team. Many of them who had done online learning, who had designed or had taken courses on online learning, and really pushed our faculty right from the start to go towards asynchronous modes and do reading and do individual meetings, but don't try and take something that you've done in class, in person, every day, and suddenly switch that to online with Zoom. It's just too much. The other advantage we had is when we sent our students home, we only had about 4 weeks left of our semester. So we were 2/3 or 3/4 of the way done our semester. So we're just in this kind of final sprint. We do this funny thing where May is called short term. It's a one class that the students take that's highly intensive, and that was canceled. So if we get through the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll be good. I also manage our IT help desk. And so about a week after we sent the students home, we didn't send all of our staff home. Our campus is still technically open. We told everybody they could work from home. And of course, everybody decided to work from home. And so we were dealing with a lot of, hey, I picked up my desktop computer and took it home. Now what do I do? And so we dealt with it. And by all accounts, things are going surprisingly well. It'll be interesting to see come May or June when people start coming back, how some things have changed about what we think of remote work.
That's actually been one of the things I just for fun in between some of the projects that I was kind of juggling. I don't know if folks know this, but for one thing, lynda.com was actually acquired by LinkedIn. So now it's LinkedIn Learning. And just for fun, here and there, I was kind of taking up a couple of things just to kind of keep the yield professional development going. And they actually had 2 or 3 courses on, learning to work remotely, which, I was like, oh, let me see when this is produced 2 years ago. All right, let me start going through it and everything. And it is one of those fun bits. Each course is maybe about half hour long or so, but it does actually like kind of pace things out a little bit better. And, case in point is exactly this. As we're doing a podcast and everything, is kind of the same idea how we've been trying to tell folks how to work remotely. And that is find like a quiet space, find something separated, find an area where, you're not going to get distracted and everything else. Has that worked out for all the folks? Not exactly. I know in our case, the head of our user services folks, she is working out of her kitchen, and which seems like a good idea in theory until you realize that her daughter has also decided to just plunk the chair next to her. And I had to laugh because at one point she was doing all her stuff remotely. And literally there was the thing of, Mom, can you change your podcast? Why? I don't like it. And yeah, it's little stuff like that. But back to the original bit of this. I think in general, this is going to cause some interesting dynamic changes. I'm sure a lot of the schools are now going to be looking, a much harder look at, how much of this can we do? How many classes can we actually do online? In Rob's case, Ernie's case, you guys both have dived into the deep end on, getting the enterprise licenses and everything. And yeah, I think there is going to be this bit of, okay, how many classes can we actually do online? And, case in point, I think the greatest one, and they probably haven't been impacted all that much, are say the folks from Liberty University who have like an on-campus student body of about 15,000, but their online student body was about 85,000. So yeah. In any event, like I said, so just kind of moving on with – go ahead, Tom.
I was just going to say that I'm not sure that a place like Bates would ever go full online learning, but it is interesting to think about when faculty are traveling or they're going to conferences or there's snow days or all kinds of other things that we're teaching them ways to keep up with the students. The other big piece for me is what it's going to do about those of us who are learning about working from home. So I would have told you 4 weeks ago, there's no way my help desk could ever work from home. And yet they all are right now, and we're doing things. We're keeping the operations running. So we're all learning some interesting things.
Now, all right, you know what? I'll flip this back for a second then. You as, in being in charge of like the user services or the help desk and everything, would you be a little bit more open now for folks saying, hey, Scott, can I at least do like, maybe 1 day a week work from home or something? Or you still prefer to have like, kind of more boots on the ground kind of thing?
I think we're going to be much more open to that. Our biggest issue right now with our help desk in particular is our phone system. It's still an analog phone system. And if we had an IP system or a soft phone system, it wouldn't even be a question. But certainly we're going to be more open to that.
Yeah. Same question for you, Rob and Ernie. Are you guys, as I say, is it looking more for, well, I think Rob, you already hit the nail and you said, some of the folks already kind of work remotely, but is there going to be any shift in dynamic for some of the folks you work with? As far as like, working from home or having different days, having like working remotely days kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that if the results that are yielded through this meet the satisfaction of, the higher ups and in general in management, then that will certainly change their perspective on work from home. I mean, in my group,
but that doesn't apply to you though.
Right, evidently not. I have to keep things together. But so as an example, like my video collaboration and production group, there are days in the office we're all together and they have edit projects that they have to do. And we don't have more than one dedicated space to edit. So they'll say, hey, Rob, can I edit from home on this project? It's got a deadline. I'm fine with that. And I think that, with help desk, you can do a lot of stuff remotely. You just have to keep track of it. Like we use Remedy Force for tickets to keep track of stuff. But there are certain things that, we have loaners that we're giving out. So that is something that's very physical for, faculty. They have to, I don't have a laptop. I don't have one that works at home. All right, you got to come in, sign it out. That kind of stuff has to stay. But yeah, I think it'll change everybody's perspective on remote or working from home.
As I say, obviously, Ernie, I think for you guys, I say, obviously, once again, I'm seeing you're still in place and everything. But are any members of your team going to be able to start doing stuff remotely, or not so much?
I've got 2 guys working from home. I've got 1 guy handling calls, especially Zoom calls at home and remoting into people's computers if he needs to. And I have one of my designers actually doing system drawings at home right now. He, at his request. And what's nice is he lives 10 minutes from campus. So if we need him here, he can be here just about as quick as he could be somewhere from his office. So that's nice. But we're trying to rotate people through, letting them work at home. Our IT help desk has moved most of their people home. We do have soft phones, so they can do that. And all of our tools are remote.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a dynamic shift. I think when everything is said and done, I think everyone, higher ed wise, is definitely going to have the conversations of, oh my gosh, some of this stuff really could be handled online or just be handled via team, whether you want it to be Teams, whether you want it to be Zoom, or WebEx or what have you. And then there are always those, crazy folks who decide to go the Google Plus or G Suite route. But we won't invoke those things yet. Anyway, that aside, guys, I think that's about all the time we really have. Rob, where can the fine folks find you at?
On LinkedIn, of course.
Of course. Ernie, same place, same time?
Same place, same time.
There we go. And Mr. Tyner, where can the fine folks find you and your awesome articles at?
I'm on Twitter all the time at @STyner, and I share most of them on LinkedIn as well.
Indeed. And as I say, Scott, are you going to move? Are you just one last little bit here? If anything, I was going to actually ask you, what's your opinion on the nice, wonderful weather in Tampa?
So I was actually very close to Tampa when Mr. Brady decided to make his change. And to be honest, I mean, I know, it's just the four of us. So if I had an opportunity, I would change my job to Tampa as well. So I can't argue with Mr. Brady.
Okay.
Oh, well. All right, guys. Once again, I will say, as I say, we got to wrap this up. As I can tell, Ernie's getting pinged. That being said, once again, this is EdTech, the Higher Ed Tech Monthly Podcast. And as always, EdTech is part of AVNation. Once again, This is EdTech.